Know the fastest way to prep bamboo?
Well, you just
put it in the fire and roast.
This way the thorns on the surface can be easily removed, and then you just need to cut a large piece and put it in the pot.
It only takes a moment.
You'll get to savor a large
pork knuckle. This
not as good as you.
On the 64th day of the challenge, the camera turns to Cowley.
The snow keeps falling, covering everything outside in white.
Today, I'll check the traps first, hoping for some catches. We also need more firewood as winter deepens. Fetching water and firewood is increasingly tiring. The traps are buried under snow.
I need to dig them out and reset them.
This place is really...
Mistakes happen easily.
Catching that sick pig was a rare event.
The innards are definitely not.
Food. We have to dry the meat before trying it. Cowley isn't sure if it's safe and worries it might cause issues after eating. Although the liver is inedible.
But it should work fine as bait.
It's so annoying to see it and not be able to eat.
Going home now would be really tough.
Accept the challenge. It's the 65th day.
Gillian fixes the fireplace.
I worked on the fireplace all evening, and now the smoke is finally under control.
Consider it released.
A bit better.
Exactly.
Go back and get well soon.
Take care of your nose.
Going ice fishing for grayling today.
On the way, I did see
the fox's tracks.
Sure enough, the tracks were nearby.
Gillian thought,
this might be lucky.
It really needs food.
Only then will there be a chance to complete
100-day challenge.
Soon, I return to my usual spot.
I intended to stay there all day.
I was surprised it happened so fast.
A fish bit the bait.
Gillian was overjoyed. He quickly grabbed a stick and stunned the fish.
Today, he can finally enjoy meat again, crediting the fox for his luck.
The luck that came wasn't as big as before, but it would still buy him a few more days.
He quickly returned to clean the fish.
Clean it up.
Gillian will eat a bit each day.
This way, he won't risk fainting from hunger.
It's the 66th day of the challenge.
Roland is really bored.
He began tapping a cowbone and singing.
Even though I couldn't make out the words, it had to be a happy song.
A fast song. Roland was as happy as a child back then.
Happy times always seem so short.
Time to step out and search for.
Find some resources.
Everything is blanketed in snow, leaving him clueless about edible options. Suddenly, he notices movement. Upon closer look, could that be a porcupine?
Roland instantly perked up.
Though he was
not reacting much,
just barreled forward.
Roland is really fierce.
A stick
handled the porcupine.
He'd been anxious about the 100-day challenge.
The challenge is impossible. With this porcupine meat, we'll easily survive another month.
Get the bamboo ready fast.
Scrub the pig well.
First time catching one.
I last saw one as a kid.
Back then, my father trapped it and caught it.
Then he killed it with one strike.
Now, I really do.
When I was a kid,
life was so different back then.
I wish I could share it with my family.
Food.
The challenge has reached day 67.
Gillian felt much better after eating the fish.
He was tempted to eat it all at once.
Done eating.
Lately, I make sure to eat all the meat in the pot. I've been occupied weaving snowshoes on the frame. Once finished, I can walk on the snow.
This will save a lot of energy and is very easy to make.
If you're planning to play in the snow,
this is a fantastic deal.
It's truly high.
Gillian very much.
Missing her husband.
I still come first.
I've never been away from him this long before. I'm feeling more and more down.
The snowshoes are nearly finished. Tomorrow when I wake up,
I can give it a try.
It's the 68th day of the challenge.
I'm thinking about making a fur coat from rabbit skins.
It would be the trendiest winter outfit.
A 100% natural, handmade rabbit fur coat.
Check out these clever rabbit foot buttons. I hope a manufacturer notices.
And starts making them soon.
I also want to wear some in winter.
After showing it off,
I checked the traps again, but sadly,
there was nothing.
I was growing weaker and weaker.
If this continues,
I might need to leave. He chose to risk it and
eat the monkey and porcupine meat even if there are issues.
At worst, I'll just get some antibiotics at the hospital.
That's what I said.
But I was quite anxious about handling it.
I cut the meat and put it.
Simmer inside the pot for safety.
This time, he aims to cook it longer.
To lower the risk of infection, he thinks about drinking the soup straight from the pot. Even if
getting sick was worth it.
This is the food I need.
He quickly grabbed the porcupine fat and tasted it. It was incredibly delicious.
I wished I could eat it endlessly. No matter if the meat has any issues, I just want to keep eating like this.
Relying solely on the current.
The food's still
a bit of a stretch.
Hope I can get more later.
More food.
How could such tasty food make him ill?
On the 72nd day of the challenge,
Roland is busy eating beef, even though it has no seasoning at all.
He finds it quite tasty.
Lately, that meat.
I've been overindulging in it a bit.
This led to some digestive issues, but Roland isn't too worried.
Not a lot, but it's better than constant hunger.
He went outside and made a fire to get rid of the porcupine, and the easiest way to do that was to roast it on the fire. This way, the quills can be easily removed. Just be careful with the fire. You don't want to burn the meat.
This method really works for cleaning it up.
It'd be easier if nothing unexpected came up.
I'm sure I'll finish the 100-day challenge this time.
It's time to plan how to use the prize money.
Maybe get a bigger house and take the whole family on a month-long vacation. The rest of the money can be saved for the kids' education. He feels quite happy with his life and hopes to see his family soon.
His family soon to share. I'm here.
The interesting things encountered in the wild, especially hunting that bull.
It's definitely a story worth telling forever.
The porcupines nearly dealt with here.
Although it looks pretty dirty on the outside.
But
the meat smells amazing. I just need to cut a big piece and stew it.
Roland's been at it for ages.
Finally, he can eat.
It's well cooked.
First, I'll indulge.
Let's try cooking a pork knuckle.
This bite is incredibly tasty.
He thinks
this is way better than beef. especially the fat.
It's simply a delicacy.
I feel completely revived. If I could eat this every day in the wild.
Roland considered offering it too.
The production team.
Bankruptcy isn't even an issue. Life keeps improving.
He never thought he would be this comfortable. On the 74th day of the challenge, he considered using porcupine quills for
I must admit, it looks pretty good.
I could use this later.
I can fix my clothes with this.
Surviving on only porcupine meat is hard.
Making it to the end of the challenge is hard.
I should look for food.
I first considered stockpiling more firewood.
But
I'm really weak. I work briefly and I'm already worn out. My shoulders feel battered.
He can't pinpoint the issue.
there was an issue. After undressing and inspecting closely, I eventually discovered it.
Porcupine thorns pierced into the skin. No wonder it felt so painful at this angle.
Handling it isn't easy. I have to use tweezers and take my time.
The quill is fully stuck now.
There is no way but to cut it with a knife.
If now,
Having someone to help would be great.
After several attempts,
finally got it out,
feeling better now, but still puzzled about how that quill got in.
he needs to quickly gather more firewood.
If he wins the money,
This way, my parents can retire earlier.
retirement shouldn't be a concern. I must double my efforts. On the 75th day, Roland went to the shore to get water.
It's already freezing over.
It's really slick to walk on. He's just afraid of falling into the water if he can help it.
I really didn't want to come and take the risk, and after a while, Roland's clothes became wet.
Luckily, it's not a major issue.
Once I clean up, I can stew the meat again.
This is the last
Piece of beef.
Roland plans to chop it up and put it directly into the pot.
To stew.
Suddenly, she notices some bite marks on it. Oh boy.
Even in the cold, mice are still stealing food.
She's concerned about the remaining meat.
The fatty parts are already gone.
She must figure out how to handle the mice. Even the pork is gone. How could such a large piece of fat vanish? Roland is furious enough to tear down the shelter. She's set on eliminating the mice. For now, she can only bag the meat.
Hoping this will help keep the mice away.
The challenge has reached day 76.
Gillian has a bit of fish daily.
But it doesn't truly fill her up.
It's just a way to curb her cravings.
She misses her husband terribly and wants to go home for a hug.
After breakfast,
I started again.
Ice fishing. If I catch a big fish,
I might be able to.
complete the challenge.
Sitting on the ice is really tough. I need to get up and warm myself every couple of hours.
Gillian couldn't.
Sense any fish. Then there was.
A tug.
I didn't expect the fish to break free. I couldn't hold back my emotions.
And burst into tears.
If I had caught that big fish,
I could definitely finish this challenge.
But reality is so
Cruel. That fish is gone for good. Back at the shelter.
Gillian felt extremely down. He felt like a complete failure. How could he not catch such a big fish? It's really too cold outside.
I don't.
I don't want frostbite. It's still chilly by the fire. Maybe it's time to consider heading home.
Now let's look at.
Roland.
She had initially just.
Coming to fetch water.
Didn't think I'd see the lake freeze.
Maybe in a few days, we can go ice fishing.
He finds life here tough.
I like it more and more.
On the 78th day, Callie dreamt of food again and felt incredibly hungry all night. Fortunately, he still had some porcupine left.
The meat smells like it's cooking.
The aroma of the meat made him feel that this
This is true wilderness.
It's time to go for what survival should be.
Let's inspect the lake ice.
Given how cold it is,
I hope we can go soon.
ice fishing, the ice still looks a bit thin.
Cowley isn't.
I really want to keep going.
Then I could set up a gill net by the shore. If it were.
I can avoid going out there.
A cold wind blows over the ice.
The ice isn't very thick right now.
Crack it open, grab some water and return to eat.
Just wondering, aren't you wearing these shoes anymore?
Back at the shelter, Cowley feels his toes.
Something's wrong.
I quickly removed my shoes to see if it was a small stone.
He dunked his head in, not expecting his toes to be frostbitten. Even warming them by the fire, a big blister had appeared. If it gets worse, he might need to amputate his toes.
Cowley has never had frostbite before.
He doesn't understand why only his toes are affected. With 22 days to go, he's scared he won't make it.
On the day of completion,
Callie isn't willing to risk her toes for the prize.
it seems she might.
She declared her exit early.
Now it's just a question of when Callie will quit.
I know the crew.
Cowley really wants to complete this challenge. He aims to show that women are just as strong as men in this challenge.
For now, all I can use.
Fire to roast.
Praying for a change.
I hope things improve soon.
By day 80 of the challenge,
Gillian feels.
He won't make it. There's nothing to eat.
I'm growing weaker and weaker.
I'm still fighting off a cold.
I'm scared I might faint.
My morale kept sinking.
Gillian just wanted to go home and hug her husband.
It seems he won't make it to the end either.
Can we end this sooner?
Congrats to Roland on the win. And Gillian.
Considering fishing to boost my mood.
I have to say, these snowshoes are really good.
Walking with them saves a lot of energy.
Gillian gazes at the view below.
Even if he catches a fish again.
How's it going?
Won't last the full 100 days.
I should just head home now and see my husband. He quickly called the producers.
I wish I could catch some fish. I think my body could last until the end of the challenge.
But mentally, I just can't take it anymore.
Now, I just want out.
Open here.
I spot the crew coming.
Coming over.
Gillian's emotions.
Couldn't keep it in.
She felt it was just too hard for her.
If only her husband were with her. Here.
Staying put for a bit.
Years are not a problem.
If I were alone, holding on this long is already a big achievement.
After Killian left,
Only Callie and Roland remain in the challenge.
Callie has a toe injury.
So Roland must try to succeed.
On the 81st day of the challenge,
Roland is now fully geared up and ready to go fishing. If she hadn't hunted the muskox,
she thinks she would have quit and gone home long ago.
now she can.
Check out the shore. The ice is sturdier than expected. Roland walks on it without any issues, trying to reach the deeper waters where the fish are more abundant.
some might say,
Roland already ate a muskox.
why is she still working so hard to find food? The main reason is the muskox had almost no fat.
Which doesn't provide much energy, not even as much as a single fish. So even after getting the muskox, Roland still needs to fish through the ice for food, but the fish weren't biting, leaving her empty-handed. On the 82nd day of the challenge, Callie hasn't given up.
He still wants to keep going.
The lake has completely
Frozen over, so now he can fish on the ice. Hopefully, this will bring.
Callie didn't go too far, just found a spot and broke a hole in the ice.
His body now is.
Extremely weak.
Even a little exercise leaves me breathless.
Porcupine and rabbit hairs cover the hook.
The main bait is the porcupine's kidney.
I hope for water.
The fish might bite if Callie can catch one.
He thought catching a fish would let him rest more in the shelter.
Lying down might help my toe heal.
But reality is just so.
Cruel.
The fish remain uncaught.
His toe is in severe pain, and Callie is deeply concerned. She's running out of time.
Not much left.
I just need to go back and rest.
It's now the 83rd day, and Roland is using an axe to break the ice for water.
The nighttime temperatures are frigid. Roland keeps adding firewood.
Fire outside.
Just need to drink more hot water.
Otherwise, especially,
Don't take it lightly.
Be wary of fever.
It keeps getting tougher.
the harder it gets.
Conversely, Callie's condition is far worse.
Her toe injury is worsening, but
She still wants to continue.
keep pushing on.
Breaking the ice for water every day takes up
A lot of time and energy.
During this period, my toe hurt terribly.
We're now on day 84 of the challenge.
Roland's shelter is still quite warm.
But cold air seeps in through the door, turning steam into frost inside.
She can't clean it all up.
In just one night, it ended up like this. She realizes she needs to scoop the ice chunks from her hat and gather more.
The firewood is piling up.
Such days.
Continuing is truly tough.
Actually, Roland's all ready.
We have enough firewood.
Yet, I keep gathering it daily.
It's certainly enough to last the 100 days.
But Roland just.
I don't think it's enough.
I've been watching constantly.
Even with more firewood at night, the cold,
This place isn't meant for everyone.
very few can last here.
The challenge is still far from over.
It's been a grueling 2 weeks.
Roland clenched her teeth and kept going.
Making it to dawn was a real struggle.
The first thing I did upon waking up was.
Take out the berries.
Because we typically eat beef.
They've remained untouched.
I thought I could have a feast, but the berries all.
Moldy. I should have expected this outcome.
The only thing I can still eat right now is oxtail.
Roland plans to cook a big pot of oxtail stew, despite its unpleasant smell.
But its nutritional value.
Very high. Roland directly.
He swallowed it in one go.
It tasted a bit sour, but as long as it was edible, it was fine.
It's day 87, and I'm feeling pretty good. I don't know how many contestants. I hope everyone can stay strong.
I just don't know if these 100.
How do you divide the prize money?
By myself.
I remember my childhood days with family.
Those days were truly.
Happy.
I'd love to invite them over and join us.
Let's see. Time to look.
The trap was initially set up to catch.
Failed to catch it.
I didn't expect.
The trap would catch one. Thank you, nature, for the gift.
If my toes weren't hurt,
I would have been quite confident.
I can complete the challenge.
Use your time wisely.
Cook it thoroughly.
Eating meat always boosts morale. Roland thinks this weather.
Getting a good night's sleep is tough.
I need to get up periodically to add firewood.
Otherwise, the cold will wake you up.
It's tough living here. Stay in the shelter to keep warm.
She thinks she can last with the resources she has, though fetching water is a bit of a hassle.
It's snowing now. Visibility is poor, and Roland feared.
Make the most of this moment.
While you can still navigate, hurry up and leave.
Roland doesn't know how long she's been walking here.
Finally, he reaches the edge of the forest.
Next time, I shouldn't venture out in such a situation. On the 88th day, Callie prepares her gear to catch fish.
But
Her fingers were so frozen that weaving was painfully slow. She could only check her fishing lines, growing more disheartened.
Callie waited for ages.
Unfortunately, no fish.
Came by.
Her toes started.
Hurting badly again. She had to return to the shelter to rest for a while. For now, she could only drink bone broth.
To warm up a bit.
Callie felt she was reaching her limit. She wished her toes would last until the end, but the next morning
Her toes hurt so much that even putting them near the fire
didn't help.
If this continued,
She might actually need an amputation. After a lot of thought, she called a doctor. It was worse than she had feared. There was no way she could continue. It was such a pity.
she was just 11.
days away from completing the challenge.
For safety reasons.
The show had to send her back.
Callie had known since her toes got injured.
That she wouldn't.
Unable to finish the challenge. as
considering leaving.
Now let's look at Roland's progress.
The challenge has reached the 90th day.
Roland still has some food left.
She roasted the oxtail over the fire.
Though there wasn't much meat, it still satisfied her craving.
It is enough to satisfy the hunger, and it is getting closer and closer to the end of the challenge.
Roland continues his daily search for food.
He doesn't plan to starve until the end.
She even had the mood to make a Christmas tree.
The Christmas tree, all I can say is Roland really earned the prize.
Whether it's her own strength
Or just good luck. I can't believe it, but I've reached the 100th day.
Roland reflects on her tough journey and waits for the crew to announce her achievement.
She wonders if her family.
Will it come over? I really feel very.
I really miss them.
While Roland was resting in the shelter,
He suddenly heard his family calling out to him. Roland was thrilled. His son was in disbelief that he had finished the challenge.
now we can plan it.
How to spend the prize money. Roland and her family share stories about life here.
There's even some oxtail marrow to eat.
Do you think Roland could?
Keep pushing forward.
Can he last another 100 days? I wonder who will challenge next.
Let's all
Just wait and see.